Today we're going to be looking at putting video quizzes within Canvas Studio. This way you can assign students a video. You can put questions throughout the quiz to either check for understanding or simply just to check to make sure that they watched the video and that they were paying attention to the video while they were watching it. So I went ahead and just grabbed a random video from YouTube just to do this as a sample with. You can do this way for any of your videos in Studio. So the first thing you're going to need to do is click the three dots here for the video options, and you go up to Create Quiz. When you do that, the first thing you'll need to do is give it a title. So I'm going to go ahead and just call this Sample Video Quiz. You can give it a description if you want. It's totally up to you. Then you've got two different options down here. So hide question markers on timeline for students. For my classes, I almost always have that checked, because if you don't have that checked, it'll show students where the questions are. They can just skip right before it, hit the question, answer it, and then move on. Whereas if you hide the question markers, they don't know where it's at, so it forces them to watch the whole video. So you can choose to hide question markers if you want, or you could leave it off. It's totally up to you. I'm going to leave it off just for simplicity's sake. Then allows displaying of annotations on timeline for students. If you have annotations put into the video and you have this checked, those annotations are not going to show up. If you check this, then the annotations that you have in the video will show up. Just, again, whatever your preference is. Once you get those done, then you're going to hit Get Started. And it's going to come up with the video itself. So you can hit play if you want to watch through the video. So we'll have a hit play. We'll watch through the video a little bit. Let's say I know something is around here. So I want at this moment to put a question in. So we're going to hit pause. Then there's this plus button here. This plus button is how you add a question. There are three different questions you can add into the video quiz. You can do multiple choice, you can do true, false, or multiple answer. Multiple choice, pick options A, B, and then C, D, E, F, G, so on if you want to go that far. True or false is just true or false. Multiple answers where they can select multiple different options. We'll go ahead and add that in there. So we'll say, what color can the sky be? And so we could put blue. That's going to be the obvious answer. Let's say red, because sunsets, sunrises. Let's add an answer. Let's say magenta. Is normally not magenta, so we'll leave that off of there. You have some options in here. You have the same option for the multiple choice questions where you can shuffle the choices. That way, if students are doing this maybe in class, it makes cheating that much more difficult to do. Or it also helps and knock out the, well, I think it's always C, because that way it shuffles it, it's random. It's totally up to chance of what the computer does. Then you have the option to put feedback if you want to. This feedback will not show up while they're answering the questions. It'll show up at the very end when they see their results. So you can add feedback for if students have a correct answer. So maybe something just like correct or way to go. For an incorrect answer, you could explain maybe what some of the common misconceptions are. It doesn't let you do it per correct answer. So let's say the option was B, and option A was a distractor for a very specific thing. You unfortunately can't make something just for if they picked A. So you could put in all of the things like, if you picked A, this is what happened. If you picked C, this is what happened. Or just in general, how to do the question properly. And then provide general feedback. So if you want students to see the same thing, regardless of whether they got it correct or not, you would put that in there. So once you've gotten that done, this over up here, you can hit save. And then that question is now on your timeline. And then we can skip forward a little more and we can see that question is there. We can add another question in there if we want. And if you realize, oh no, I wanted to change that question that I already had. You can see that there's a pencil icon there. So if we hit that, now we can go back in, we can edit, make whatever changes we want. If we decide we don't want the question at all, there's a trash can here that we can use to trash it. So I'm going to discard the changes, so that question is still there. So you can do whatever it is that you want. Whenever you're done with the video quiz and you're done setting up the questions, you'll hit the done button. And now you'll notice for the video, it's got this little rocket ship icon up there, meaning that there's a video quiz attached to it. So if you want to go and assign a video quiz, you're going to need to go to the actual course that you're wanting to do it. So I'm going to go to my sandbox. And you'll add this just like you would any other assignment. So we'll go to add, we'll create an assignment. We'll call this the sample video quiz. Add it, and then we'll go into it so we can edit. You're going to set it up the exact same way you would any other assignment as well. You can give any kind of details within this first box here that you want. If maybe while they're filling out the video you want them to fill out a Google form too, you can add those through Drive. Again, normal standard assignment options apply. You can change your point value, all that standard stuff. The only thing that's going to be really different that is super important to do is under submission type. This is going to be an external tool. So kind of like Google Assignments, it sets up the same way. So you'll click external tool, you'll go to find, and then Canvas Studio is very conveniently right on top. So we'll click Canvas Studio, and then this is going to open up sort of a studio view. So everything within your library, you may, if it's not the very first thing in there, or if it's not in a collection that's at the very start of your library, you're going to have to scroll through to find what it is you're looking for. But in this case, it's at the very top. So I'm going to select the video. Now when you do this, when I do it and I mess up, this is where I mess up. The default is what it calls a standard embed, meaning that it's going to just simply show the video with no video questions attached to it. If you do this, not all hope is lost, because there are ways, which I'll show you here in a second, how you can view and see which students viewed it, how long they viewed it, like how much of the video they watched. So you can always go back through and check that if you're just wanting to look for, did the students watch a video, and you weren't looking to actually assess them over the knowledge. But I would recommend, if you went through the effort to make a video quiz, you click the video quiz embed button, and then you have the option to add it in there. If you have multiple quizzes attached to a video, which is something that you can do, you just go back to the create quiz option in Studio, and then you just create a new quiz just like you would any other one. You have the option to select which one it is. So maybe you use the same video for different levels of difficulty or different classes or something like that. You can have different things set up there. But anyway, so I want the sample video quiz, so I'm going to embed it. And then I'll hit select again, and now that link is there, so it's good to go. I also would recommend loading it in a new tab. That way students have more freedom to do. And again, you set up the thing to do whatever you want the other settings to be, save and publish, and now it's ready to go for the students. When they want to do it, they're going to hit this load sample video quiz in a new window. And then this is the view that they're going to have. So they'll have to hit the get started button. When they do that, it's going to load, and then it'll start playing. So if you notice, since I did not click the hide questions from students, they can see that there is a question at about 35 seconds. So if they want to, or if you want them to, they can skip forward to just right before it, hit play, and when it runs into the question, it's going to stop the video. It'll automatically pop up with the options. So let's say it's just blue and magenta. Hit continue, and notice that it didn't tell them whether they got it right or not. It's not going to do that until the very end. So they're not going to get feedback during the video. But if they decide to just stop here, it's going to record that as them having done everything, although chances are they're probably just going to skip to the end, let it load for the last few seconds after they hit play, and then they do have to submit it. So even if they don't finish, even if they answer every question, if they don't hit the submit quiz button, Canvas won't grade it. It'll record what they have done so far, so if they need to come back in later and finish it for whatever reason, they can do so. But it's kind of like if they were to just do the assignment and then not actually hit the turn in button. So submit quiz, and then they'll have the option to view the results, or because I have it set up so that they can retake it, they can retake it if they want. So we'll hit view results, and then this is what the students would be able to see. Since I'm not in the student view, it doesn't pop up, but it would pop up here with all the questions that they had, which ones they got right, which ones they got wrong, and then any feedback if I had set the questions up to provide that for them. From your end, as a teacher, if you want to see what that looks like. So going with the Canvas Basics in Assessments course, if we look at the first video that we got here, the way that you're going to do it is you'll go to the assignment, and then you'll need to hit the Load Modules Video Quiz in a new window. If you want to open it in SpeedGrader, you can, but the only thing that's going to tell you is what grade each student got on the thing. So you can get a lot more useful information by popping in here. So when you scroll down, there's the details button here. The details are just, the details of the video, so when it was made and all that stuff. Students are usually able to see the details. Captions, if you put them in, are there too. The two really useful things, though, are going to be the quiz results and insights. So if you open the quiz results, it gives you an item analysis of things. So on this quiz, I can see the majority of people who took it got 100%. It looks like there was one person who maybe got a 50. Of course, it would have bars for all of the other percentages within there. It gives you your average, tells you the high and low scores, and then it gives you an item analysis. So you can see exactly which questions the students missed, which ones they got right more often. And if you click there, it even tells you the actual percentage for each option that was picked in there. So you can use that to help guide, do I need to further teach something or anything like that. Instead of an item analysis, you can click here to go to student results. And so this is going to pop up with the student results. It tells you how many attempts they tried, what score they got on the attempts, how much time they spent on it. So that's one way to tell right off the bat how long they spent. The problem here, though, is that it doesn't capture exactly how long they actually watched the video. It's how long was this open. So for example, this person here spent, it looks like, 12 hours and 26 minutes watching this video that was definitely under 20 minutes. So that means that, it was probably just open and doing that. So if you want to see an accurate result of how much they were looking at it, you're going to go to the Insights tab. On the Insights tab here, it tells you a lot of information about the video itself. So this video has had 22 views. Every time it gets viewed by somebody, whether it's you or a student, that count's going to go up. The total amount of time it was viewed between everybody, if you add it all together, the number of unique viewers, so this was 17 people. So that's counting the 16 people in the course plus me. It gives you a graph of where the people watched. So 16 people started at the beginning, 15 people skipped forward to the 6-minute mark. I would imagine there was a question there, as well as a question close to the end where 16 people again. And so it looks like about 9 or 10 people watched the entire video just from this graph here. Number of plays, so if somebody needed to go back and watch something, it kind of shows how often that happened there too. And then going down farther, it shows each person and how much they completed it. So this person, it says they watched it 100%. So if I open up this chart here, it shows that they watched the entire thing, starting from the beginning and going to the end. But if I go to maybe this 36% person, when they watched it, I can tell that they definitely skipped around. So if a student comes up to you and says, I don't understand, did you watch the video? Yeah, I did. Well, no, you didn't. You only watched a third of the video. Go back and rewatch the video and get the whole thing down. So you can see exactly by student how much of it they watched, if that's something that, for whatever reason, you need to see. So Canvas video quizzes have a lot of really, really useful information in them, and they're really, really powerful to use within your classroom.